I got one of these projectiles. I want y'all to see what this thing here is going to shoot. Here we go. Alright, this is what we end up with. You pull this ice out, and this right here will be full of your bait, your hook, and it's a little rocket ship. Alright. Okay, here we are at Fix It Joe's. We made that bait launcher, and oh my goodness, it shot the bait. I don't know about, I'm using my iPad, so it looks like I'm looking up. I don't know where the camera is. Oh, it's down there. But anyway, it shot. This is one of the baits here. You know, there's what we got is I made some weights. Oh, look at the tip of this thing compared to this. These were homemade weights. That weight was pointed like that, and that's when that weight came down. It came down and hit a rock. So these things are very dangerous. If anybody was swimming out there, or if you hit anybody with one of these things, it would most definitely probably kill them. So I don't even know, you know, you wouldn't want to be shooting this out in the water or anywhere unless it's wintertime and you know there's nobody else on the beach. But I see them all on the internet. People are using them, but store-bought ones. But this thing here was, I think I had 50 PSI in on that one, and went about 150 yards. And this one here landed in dirt. It peeled over 350 yards off my pole. All the string I had, but it didn't break the string. It came out, and it landed in soft dirt. It didn't mess the tip up. But this is just testing that out here in the country. We're not at the beach. But the problem with this one was when I shot it, I think the barrel came up and it went kind of high. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I want to show you how to make the things to hold the bait. So what we do is we drop these things in here, see? And this is a weight, and it's going to drop in here. These are some things my son-in-law made on a 3D printer. He's got a 45-degree angle here. So what I'm going to do is glue these. They get glued in there. So when you drop the weight in, that 45 puts it right in the middle. And you fill it with water. And this is one that's froze here. I just use these chip clip things here to hold it, you know, to hold that in the center like that when it freezes. But I'll have to glue these. This is not PVC, this plastic on a 3D printer, so I got to use a Gorilla Glue. PVC works. Okay, that's a picture of his 3D printer right there. I don't believe those things are very expensive, so you may want to get you one. PVC, it's still together, but I had one of them with PVC. It pushed it off when it froze. This is still frozen harder. I'll take it out and show you how it looks, but it's just a long projectile with a 45-degree point of water froze on the end, but the lid pretty much sticking out the end, so like a bullet. And this thing is heavy. If you look online on the internet, what I saw was people use chum. We've never fished with these before. We're just now building this stuff, trying to figure it out. They grind up a fish and put chum in there, and people put a whole mullet in there. Of course, that all pulls out. So when you shoot a mullet out there, or whatever kind of bait you have, I guess the one that melts the chum brings the fish. But anyway, today I keep getting sidetracked. I got 4 more pieces, 1.5 inch PVC cut, and I can make these. But I think with this type end, any kind of weight you want, store-bought weight, you can just drop in there, and that'll make it go to the center. My son said we need to count with the little wires on them because the beach, you know, it doesn't want to stay. So I see no problem putting them in here as long as you can bend the wires to fit in an 1.5 inch circle. So that's it. Gorilla Glue. I've never read Gorilla Glue before. If you read the instructions, it said that on glass or things that are smooth to dampen it. So anyway, so that's all we're going to do is put a little damp water on it and glue them. And then I'm going to set them on this, see, this is nothing. I got a plate here. We'll just we'll just, let's see, where am I at? That's all we gotta do is just, let me see, I got a little water here. Cup of water. Pour a little on this. Whoop, there goes my ice. I'm gonna keep my ice. All right, so all we're supposed to do is just, let's see, I guess it don't really matter which side. I'm gonna have just gonna dampen that and dampen this. And this is no rocket science here. We're just gonna glue it. So we're gonna do 4 of these. I'll put them up and let them dry. I will show y'all the one we shot. We did one we shot. We went up, it peeled off, like I say, about 350 yards of string, but it went high. The bait landed a little less than 300 yards away. So it didn't break the string, it just peeled it off because it was that braided, real strong braided string that's like 8-pound diameter, but 30-pound strength. As it peeled it off, when it got to the end, it just stopped. And it stayed on the pole, but it was so high that it came down. The projectile only went about, I think with a rangefinder, it was close to 300 yards. And I probably pulled off more than, I don't really know how much string I had. It was a lot of string. I bought a 500 meter spool, and most of it was on there. But it took it all off, but as it went high and down, a lot of string was left floating in the air, I believe. But okay, so it's already melted. This has been melted a while, I guess, but this is what we got when we pull it out. But of course, normally there would be a fish in there. Let me turn this, I don't want to get water on my stove. But anyway, so this is what we got. That pulls out, and that's it. Oh, yeah, that's a pretty big weight into there. I think that's about an 8-ounce weight. But this right here is heavy. Your fishing pole goes right here. This is just pure water. Normally there would be chum and a hook and a fish and all that, whatever kind of bait, artificial, whatever you do, going to be frozen in this projectile. And this projectile looks like can shoot it darn near as far as you want with that bait launcher we made. I don't know. I mean, that Freon tank, it's an aluminum old-timey antique Freon tank. I don't know what it's good for, 200-300 PSI. Of course, I'd be scared of our weld and all that. Y'all do know that a vessel, air tank with air is super dangerous. If you don't know what you're doing, it can explode. And very, very dangerous. The way you test something like that is you fill that vessel with water and then pump up the pressure. And then the water doesn't compress. It's like hydraulic. So that way you don't have a big... If you really want to test something, you can fill it 100% with water, get all the air out of it, put a grease fitting on it, and a grease gun. You could probably pump it up to 1,000 PSI. I don't know. If it's 100% full of liquid and then just a little bit of grease. Hey!
Yep.
Okay, that's our first real test. I got good string. As you can see, when I kicked it down, I lifted the barrel up, so it went higher than a 45-degree angle. Peeled off 350 yards of line, but thought y'all may be interested. Won't get much better than that, but that bullet went a long way, and there you go. That's our first test. Okay, that video may have been a little boring, a little slow, not much to it. Gluing a little end on a piece of PVC. It's just 1.5 PVC. Them ends my son-in-law made on a 3D printer. I guess you could send me a comment or something if anybody needed any of them. Maybe you want to give me some more time, and I just did that. We'll see how they last. We hadn't had a chance to go fishing. We hadn't had a chance to do much testing. That first test pulled all that line off, and when I reeled it back up, I got some tangles in it out there in the weeds. And anyway, but it'll shoot a long way. It still went, even with tangled line, it went, the bullet landed almost 300 yards away. So anyway, Fix It Joe's. We didn't fix nothing here. We just made stuff out of a bunch of junk we had laying around. But we're not going to have to get into water if we go to the beach in the wintertime. We're going to shoot them baits out there and catch some big fish and stay dry. Maybe get knee deep or something. Not have to go wading up to your chest to get to that third sandbar or whatever we need to do. So may be fun. Y'all may be interested in doing it. I'll try to have some time and put the whole thing on how I made it. It's real simple to make. The main problem with it was welding aluminum. I know a lot of y'all can't do that. I could make a video on how to make a thing to weld aluminum. My aluminum welding machine I made out of a old Lincoln that was just straight steel. But anyway, I know this was a long-winded thing. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I need some subscribers. I think if you get 1,000 subscribers and get enough views, you may get paid for doing this mess. I'm retiring. It could come in handy. Could buy some mullet, buy new cast nets and stuff, go fishing. Fix it, Joe's. Y'all come back now, you hear? Ring, slow motion. It's still going, but it's still going. It's still going.